Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. My name is Wendy Byford, and I'm going to be your host on this series. And my guest today is Damion Parsons, and I'm really excited to be able to do this interview because I love what Damion is doing. Damion is the founder and CEO of Size Wise Closet Coach. I've never heard of a closet coach before, so this is really exciting. He really is in business to make sure that you can embrace your confidence, that you can discover clothes that fit your unique body and your style, and make sure that you feel great and look fabulous all day, every day. Now, one of the things that Damon had told me earlier was that he thought we only used about 20% of the clothes in our closet. Guilty here. And he's going to explain to us how we can kind of get past that, use more of our closet to make ourselves look and feel great. So thank you, Damion, for joining me. I'm really excited to do this interview.
Thank you for having me, Wendy. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Damion, and I am the founder of Sizewise Closet Coach, and it's a virtual style companion. As Wendy eloquently shared, what we're doing is helping those who look in their closets every morning miserable about having nothing to wear. Meanwhile, the closet is filled. And it's not what I said, it's actually the Pareto rule. It's a scientific study, and the guy that came up with the whole theory is his name is Pareto, and the 80-20 rule just says that we usually reap 80% of our results from 20% of the effort. But what we found is that this 80-20 method can be applied over many things. And after speaking to clients and looking more into the closet, it also works for the closet space. And for most people looking in their closets, they frequently go to what they're comfortable with. And on average, it's around 20% of clothing. So what we do is, we offer one-on-one virtual consultations with certified coaches and a free patented size calculator. You capture your measurements, we recommend products in your size so that our clients can step confidently into job interviews, date nights, or even professional events with confidence and style.
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing because I think that a lot of us, particularly professionals, fall back into using the same clothes over and over again because there's so much going on in our minds that we don't want to have to think too hard about putting together clothing to wear that makes us look good. So we're going to reach for the same things over and over because we know that we're going to feel confident, we're going to feel great wearing them. Whereas in fact, as you say, there are so many other things in our closet that we could wear if we just knew that we could put them together quickly into something that would look fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we've done is lean more into the 80-20. Like now that you're familiar with what it is, this is not a foreign concept. And I gotta say, Wendy, like when I mentioned this to most folks, everyone nod in synchronicity. Like we all do it. We're all guilty of it. So we're using that model to identify what you're comfortable with, the
Mhm.
20%, expand on that, and
Mhm.
see what you've been ignoring. And the entire process of helping you with a closet coach is to find ways to mix and match and have you shop your closet before you purchase something new.
Great. So, Damien, how did you get into this? It's such an unusual niche to be in. How did you get started?
And that's the question I get more often than not. And I give all the credit to my grandmother, who was a seamstress. My mother, she still sews as well. But yeah, growing up in a house where her sewing machine was always going, the hand-me-downs that I wore were altered to fit from uncles and aunts, and school uniforms and church clothes were all made to fit. So growing up, I didn't realize that there was a value in this type of lifestyle, and just simply knowing your inseam or your neck size makes a big difference. So I eventually left Jamaica and I came to the US, studied design, and I went into interactive design. So I'm a creative director in user experience design,
Mhm.
and I saw an opportunity. So I took the best of both worlds, to create this platform to help people embrace their personal brand through fashion in a sustainable way.
Wow. Now, let's explore sustainable fashion because I think that it's a concept that not many people are familiar with. So, can you explain what sustainable fashion is?
Absolutely. So it varies. I mean, if you look at who owns the headlines, sustainable fashion can mean one thing over the other. But my experience through fashion, the way I was brought up, the way my grandmother taught me my relationship with clothing, sustainability is more of a state of mind. I think a lot of us rely on government or brands to make these decisions for us.
Mhm.
It's not only sustainable if the material is made from mushrooms or bamboo or like, yeah, that's a part of it. But if you buy that shirt and wear it once just because of vanity or whatever it is, that's not a sustainable act. And our approach is sustainability is the practice of finding meaningful ways to engage, right? And you can apply that over anything. So what we're teaching people is how can you change your habits with the closest tangible thing you have to your personal brand.
Okay. So, how does somebody go about finding their personal brand? I mean, I think a lot of people just, as you say, reach into their closet, they put on whatever they're comfortable with, and they walk out into the world. But branding takes a lot more thought. And so, how does somebody go about figuring out what their personal brand is?
I'll give you a quote from my grandmother. Fit is the key to style. And what that meant, and I understood this later, she always said it, but I didn't really put it together. But knowing who you are, knowing when you've changed, knowing how you've transformed, understanding that we do transform every single day. And there's this thing that I've been playing around with an idea of the phantom version of ourselves. We have a ideal idea of who we want to be, and usually that person is stuck in the past. It's usually when we were fit in college or when we did P90X for 90 days. So we continue buying for that version, or we think we should always be medium or size twos. And it's just finding the place to accept where we are today. And once you start there, you can build on that, and that's where personal branding start. It's owning and being comfortable with who you are and where you are.
Okay. So how do your coaches help people to develop that style? Because as you say, I mean, all of us have seen people who are dressing for the way that they used to be 20 years ago, right? And they haven't kind of updated that style, but they're totally unaware of how they're presenting themselves today. So how do your coaches help people come to terms with who they are today and kind of match that style?
So it's a very technical process, the one that we've developed and designed. What
Mhm.
we're teaching people is it's grassroots, it's very pedestrian in its nature. And what I mean by that is that all our consultation starts with a technical analysis. We're going to help you get measured. We're going to figure out what your body type is. And through that process, we start showing you what products will fit and what won't.
Mhm.
Brands, designers, they all use patterns to make clothing. Some patterns were built for certain body types, others won't
Mhm.
fit at all because it just wasn't made for it. A lot of consumers aren't privy to this information. So what we're doing is we're showing people the tips and tricks they need in order to make better decisions about what they already have and stuff that they're considering to buy. And by having this knowledge, I'll give you an example. One of our clients, after going through the session and she got her playbook, she ended up donating 50% of her closet to her niece because she realized half of what she had just wasn't going to work for her. And what I realized in that is if we approached her initially by saying, donate half your closet, that would be a harder pill to swallow. But because we showed her the root cause of making better decisions, she came
Mhm.
to that conclusion on her own.
So the people that you work with, I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier about sustainability. You had given me earlier some incredible statistic about how many clothes end up in landfill, for example. So, as part of what you're doing, are you educating people on what they can do with the clothing that they're no longer going to be wearing?
Oh, absolutely. We've been working with designers that take in secondhand and remake them into couture. We've been working with students, collecting old clothes and giving them to make cuts and experiment instead of buying new clothes. And we've also been sharing the knowledge on our social and email about the $800 billion we spent last year as shoppers returning products. So just like these antidotes of seeing the message everywhere is a part of our mission to help consumers make sustainable decisions.
So it's interesting, Damien, when I was, I guess, much younger, and buying clothes, it was always kind of drummed into me that the clothes that you buy should last a long time. That, you're not buying for a season, you're buying for multiple seasons. And so buy things that are classic and then dress them with whatever accessories you want to kind of keep them up to date. Is But it seems like that's a very old idea, and that now people are more used to buying clothes for a season and then getting rid of them and buying the next season. Is what I'm seeing correct, or have I missed something?
Oh, no, you're absolutely correct. This is exactly what's happening, and this is exactly what we're trying to share. Uh, I deliberately said pedestrian approach earlier just to convey the concept of how our model works. Yes, there is some technology, but it is that old school approach, right? How can we start buying and keeping things to last? And I think that's a big part of the equation of being sustainable. It's not about, I call it the tissue paper approach to fashion, where the shelf life of any product now, it doesn't last long. Even if you intentionally want to keep fast fashion, one wash and it turns into a dish rag. Like that's where we are now with the products and the manufacturing of these products, but also in the behavior of customers. So instead of directly attacking the manufacturer pipeline of how products are made, why not educate consumers as well? Have them demand better manufacturing processes and have them start demand. So by switching the narrative of relying on institutions, brands, and designers, let's start educating our customers on the way Wendy grew up and the way I grew up on approaching our closets.
So it's basically teaching people to vote with their dollars.
Absolutely.
So if we start buying things that are more sustainable, then the manufacturers are going to see where the dollars are going and follow suit.
And you start buying less and it reduces everything.
Right. So I think that it's a really interesting challenge that you have, because most of us are not educated enough to know how to make our core items in our closet look new and updated all the time, which is of course what we're looking for. How to use accessories imaginatively. How to buy small things that will change the entire look of an outfit. And so is that part of what you try to teach people so that they hang on to the clothes that they have?
That's the biggest part of what we do. Because the idea is if I'm not buying a lot, I'm not looking stylish enough over all the seasons, over all the trends. So there is kind of this sunk cost fallacy and like this major sacrifice that we have to make if this is the decision. And yeah, we're challenging that. We're saying, yeah, that's not true. Capsule closets are a thing. They can look versatile, they can look stylish. And if you know the nuances of making better decisions about what you already have and how to just reinvent who you are and kind of embrace that transformation, it is absolutely possible.
So it sounds like, given what we've been talking about, that it actually is a service that you kind of need to keep tapping into. So, for example, if you have a coach that gets your basic closet set up, then every 6 months or so you're going to want to go back and say, okay, so now how do I give this a fresh look, and have the coach kind of help you with that. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah, because we encourage people to, when they're using the patented size calculator, to capture your sizes at least 2 to 3 times a year. Because what the tech helps with in that instance is, think about having brands subscribe to you. We can show you a feed of products that will only fit you if you keep your measurements up to date. And we frequently change. So by having that information current, you're seeing new products every time you change. And yeah, the transition periods that we're helping people with the most is, I mean, looking at like kids going from college to the workplace. They've never dressed professionally before. How do we do it? Or men that's transitioning their body because they're working out. They either, they start putting some muscle on, nothing fits, or women that go through cycles or are pregnant.
Mhm.
These transitions change our brand. It changes how we show up. The old clothes reminds us of yesterday, and we're not sure of how to show up today, and that's what we help with.
You know, your your talk has actually made me think about something for professional women. I worked in corporate America for 30 years, and it was really tough to um, to get up in the morning, put on something that made you look professional, confident, great, and go out to work every day. And so I basically had a bunch of suits lined up, and I would just pick out one and wear it because I knew that it would look good. Never thought about ever changing anything in the closet because that would just change the whole dynamic. There was a conversation that Jamie Kern Lima had when she was, I think it was when they were celebrating It Cosmetics had finally made it. And she met this very powerful professional woman. And she had kind of alluded to the fact that, it might be difficult as a professional to kind of keep worrying about your weight because Jamie had a weight um, consciousness, and uh, and she had always kind of fought that. Excuse me,
Bless you.
I have allergies. I am so sorry.
No worries.
So she was talking to this woman, and the woman said, "I've got so much to think about. I don't even think about my weight." Excuse me.
Bless you.
It must be a sensitive topic. I'm sneezing. Um, so if that woman has her closet coach, then weight doesn't become an issue because you can always look good regardless.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I'm sorry, I have terrible allergies. So
It is the season.
it is. So it sounds like this is a really valuable approach for all kinds of people that allows them to look good regardless of what's going on in their life.
You're spot on. I mean, you just hit the nail on the head, professional businesswomen. And that's the perfect segue into sharing with you that I am officially a member of the American Business Women Association, the ABWA. It's been an organization that's been around for 75 years. So I've been invited to be a member. So I'm the only male member in my chapter. So if you can imagine one guy in a room filled with professional women talking about the anatomy of their closets, that's what I've built. And next week, they're having an event, a national event, where all the chapters are going to meet in Chattanooga. And I've been invited. I wasn't planning on going because I'm so new, I'm still warming up to the idea. And they encouraged me. So I'm going to be there and I'm going to be sharing the same story that you just shared and just listen. And I think it's a perfect opportunity to just hear more, learn more, and figure out how the service can support professional women in their careers. Because you are right. I mean, yesterday we know how difficult it was for women, but it's still difficult today. And I think women in general cannot afford to show up less than professional. So it's always a challenge for them to find that balance of comfort and showing up for. So these are the things that we found value in helping with, and this is what we're going to continue to champion and provide service to. Yes.
Wonderful. So if people are interested in learning more about what you do and how they can take advantage of your services, how do they get hold of you?
We've made it pretty simple and easy. Just visit sizewiseclosetcoach.com. There you can see what the service is about, what we've been doing. You can book a closet coach at any time. We've designed it so the services are in time blocks. So if you're a fashionista and you think you just need 15 minutes of help picking the red or the blue outfit, you can book 15 minutes all the way up to an 8-hour session where it's spread across multiple days or weeks depending on your schedule. And we can help you with decluttering your closet. We created a package recently called the capsule suitcase for people that pack 3 months for a 3-day trip. We're helping you pack sustainably. So yeah, we've created these interesting package to show that you can engage with the coaches however you'd like.
Fantastic. I know that a lot of people are interested in finding ways that they can save time and save stress in their lives and still manage to look great. So I think that this is an incredibly valuable service, and I thank you so much, Damion. You said earlier that you might have something for our viewers.
Absolutely. I will share a code with your show so your viewers can see it in your show notes. And I'll give everyone 20% on any one of the services that they'd like to try.
Wow, that is incredibly generous. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So everybody, you heard it. If you want to get your closet in shape so that you can basically walk in and come out looking fabulous every time, then go to sizewiseclosetcoach.com, see what the services are, pick what you need, and use the code that Damien's going to give me to put in the show notes. You'll be able to get 20% off. I am really, really happy to have had you here, Damion. This is absolutely wonderful. I wish you the best of success. I'm very excited to follow you and find out how well you're doing. And let's talk again in a year or so and see how your company's coming along.
Absolutely. The pleasure was mine, Wendy. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.